Smack in the Bank, episode 1, baby. We are here to deliver our first ever episode of our new show, Smack in the Bank. I'm Gabe the Banker, Killian. That's my mainest man, Leon, aka the Smack God. How's my cousin doing today?
Super fantastic, super fucking excited to get this show actually going, man. We've talked about doing this for a while. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time. Definitely excited, man. This is episode number 1, number uno, number ichi. How do you say number 1 in Armenian, my friend?
Mek.
Number Mek, episode Mek, man. The first time. You can never do the first time again, man. So let's fucking go.
Babo. Yeah, man. Everyone says we got a great chemistry when it comes to MMA. We're gonna parlay that into general discussion. So
I think we'll have even better chemistry when we're not talking about MMA. Even better. Because MMA, you gotta have like strong opinions. So you're like, oh man, this guy's gonna win. No, this guy's gonna win. You kind of dig in. But we're shooting the shit, talking about love, life, sports, and entertainment, man. We can have some strong takes, but a lot of times we're just gonna get along and just have a great conversation. So interested to see where this thing goes, man. Very interested to see where this thing goes.
All right, to start things out, let me just get an update on your COVID-19 situation. I know you came down with it. Are you still positive?
I have not gone and got retested. It's been a little bit over 2 weeks since I first had any symptoms. And I felt, I was down for the count. It was weird. I couldn't even explain to people like how I was feeling, mentally, physically drained, spiritually drained. It was just it was no joke. I started to feel a little bit better about a week and a half after my symptoms first appeared. Then it kind of goes up and down, where I feel good and I go outside, do some yard work, put up my Christmas decorations, maybe do some Christmas shopping. And then I'll just be exhausted, just down and tired. And it's like, so it's this yo-yo of, okay, I think I'm all right. And then I'm not 100%. Today, I could say I feel about 99.9%. I still got a little bit of a cough, but other than that, man, I feel like I'm on rocket fuel.
You got your taste back?
It has come back quite a bit. Not 100%. I can't smell anything. My sense of smell is gone.
Yeah.
It was funny. My wife likes to eat spicy food, so she has some Thai curry, and she likes it spicy. And I don't like that shit spicy. So she tried some. She's like, "Oh man, she's Japanese, so everything's super. Caray. Like, what's that? Spicy? Yeah, it's so spicy. So I wonder if I could taste it. Nothing.
Wow.
Didn't burn, and I'm sensitive to that shit. Didn't burn or anything. Now, I didn't go crazy with it because I do know that has to come out the other side. You know what I mean? And I'm not falling for the burning asshole trick, right? But I had a little bit. It was tasty. Well, not tasty. It wasn't spicy, but I could taste a little bit. But yeah, that kind of sucks not being able to taste your food. Couldn't drink beer. Couldn't smoke marijuana. Just had disgusting flavors.
Nasty.
Yeah, bro.
The flavor's not worth the high, huh?
It wasn't. It was like, oh man, it was just put it out. It was weird. And I bought some really good marijuana, $60 an eighth from the street dealer, which is gotta be some good stuff.
That might be the only thing that gets me to quit.
But that might be the way you quit.
Yeah, if I get that. Yeah.
It would be a good time for me to quit because I don't really have the habit. I'm out of the habit, not the addiction, but for me things are kind of habitual.
Yeah,
I lost some weight. Got an ab. I think I seen a visible ab. Hadn't seen an ab in about 10 years. Back in my sexy days, I used to be sexy.
You've been watching any sitcoms?
Yeah, watching a pretty good one. I don't mind the coronavirus, COVID-19. 2020 has not really been a bad year for me. I'm saving a lot of money, not driving. I'm not in traffic. I fucking hate traffic. Caught up on a lot of shows that I've been wanting to see. So watched a lot of shows. And right now I'm watching a show called The Good Place with Kelly Kuko.
I mean, that's the only good part of the pandemic. I watched so many like old classic sitcoms and shit. It's pretty dope.
Yeah. And good segue into something we talked about in pre was our top five. Our top five. I know you wanted to go 10, but our top 5 sitcoms of all time.
Yeah, and this time we're gonna do live audience sitcoms, multi-camera. Next time we'll do like single camera, no audience sitcoms, which would be like Arrested Development, Malcolm in the Middle, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't pay attention. I gotta change one show then. But oh, you want? Yeah, okay, all right. I got you.
Yeah. So we're like on like a stage with like an audience, that type of sitcom.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
So you got your top 5?
Yeah, you're right. It's tough to do 5. It is tough to do 5. And like I said, the best sitcoms ever, they're all black, with the exception of one. There's one. There's only one non-black sitcom in my top 6, and I could probably extrapolate that down to about 8. And still, if I did top 10, I'd probably have 7 black shows in there.
Well, let's start with your number 5. Who do you have for number 5?
Martin. You so crazy.
No,
Martin.
I haven't seen that show since I was a kid. I only saw like a couple of reruns.
Okay, check it out. I went back because my kid, I like showing my kids the old stuff. So I went back, I put on Martin, they were cracking up. Martin was in his fucking bag, bro. He played like 8 or 9 different characters. He played Romy Roan. He played his own mama. He played Shanae. You know what I mean? He played all these different characters, and he'd be dead. Oh man, he was just, I forgot. Like, go back and watch it. He's hilarious. Like, he was just under Eddie Murphy funny in his heyday. Just under Eddie Murphy, top flight Eddie Murphy. See, you're younger than me. You don't remember when Eddie Murphy was the funniest, most famous guy in the world.
I mean, I remember him during the Nutty Professor days and shit.
That was the comeback because he had failed on a couple of movies before. They had like a couple of movies that were kind of so. But like buddy cop flicks, like a Beverly Hills Cop. When that shit came out, it was just innovative, over the top, hilarious, and he was just in his bag. What else was it? 48 Hours. Him and Nick Nolte. Tremendous. Trading Places, another classic. Coming to America, Harlem Nights, like Eddie Murphy during the 80s. There hasn't been a comedian with that type of run in my lifetime than Eddie Murphy in the 80s. In terms of just putting out funny movies. You know who's gotten close? Will Ferrell's gotten close.
Is he still up there? Because I haven't really kept my finger on the pulse of like movies.
Well, he's not still up there. I'm just saying he had a really good run. You think about the other guys, Talladega Nights. I didn't really like Anchorman, but a lot of people appear to like Anchorman. He had a pretty nice run.
Yeah.
Old School. These are funny fucking movies. But okay, so Martin was my number 5. You want me to go through my top 5, or do you want to go share your number 5?
I'll do my 5. Well, I had trouble picking number 5 because number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That they could have. I could argue we put them all as number 5, but for a specific reason, I'll put number 5 as Boy Meets World. Did you ever see that show? Yeah, you probably that it was big when I was a kid, and that show it was a funny show, man, and I liked it. The main reason I'm picking that show is because that's the show that like friendship means a lot to me because of that show, I think.
You learned some lessons. I got you. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Okay, so let me just say this. In pre, you said that you didn't have any black shows in your top 5. I think your top 5 is going to be absolute hot garbage, and it's not your fault. You just grew up in the wrong era. You're going to have some. I'm going to give you some homework because we're going to have to talk about Boy Meets World. That's probably not in my top 30. I'm going to watch it just so I can. I'll give you.
Watch it with your kids. It's a good show for kids.
But boy, top 5. Oh
yeah.
shit. All right. We're not off to a good start, ladies and gentlemen.
For nostalgic and sentimental reasons. I'm not saying it's the top 5 funniest, but it's still funny too.
Okay, I just gave like the top 5 best. All right. So my number
personal,
4.
Personal favorite, not best. Personal favorite.
Okay, I'm doing best. All right, I can't argue with your personal favorite. I thought we're doing best. We got to do best.
Not top 5 favorite, bro. It's favorite, personal. It's like I could acknowledge something the best, but not love it. What's that?
You did. Okay, so let me give you my number 4. Number 4 is the funniest white show of all time. As a matter of fact, this show, when you watch it now, it has aged like fine motherfucking wine because they're doing things on TV that we could never do today. And I like to see that. We're all so fucking PC and careful with our words and we want to cancel everybody. But this show, oh my God, Married with Children. Have you seen that show?
Of course.
Okay. Al Bundy doesn't want to bang his wife. He's got a fucking little Karen. Like Marcy Darcy was like the original Karen, little short-haired bitch. Always want to talk to the manager. And yeah. Like, you know, you had the slut. His daughter's a fucking slut. You know what I mean? Like, he fucking hates fat bitches. He works as a shoe salesman, and he's always making fun of these fat bitches. Al Bundy would get me too the fuck out the page so fast right now.
I would say he's my number 1 favorite sitcom character.
Yeah, he's great. I might give him number 1, honestly, like for real. Okay. And to my live studio audience, well, he's up there. He's really close. We got to. That's another topic for another day. All right, what's your 4? Let me hear this. All right, I'll give you a chance.
My number 4 is Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Okay.
It's
you know what? I'm spoiler alert. I've only got one white show on my top 5, and it was Married with Children. Seinfeld's not in my top 5, but I probably lose that argument to.
Have you seen how much of Seinfeld have you seen?
89% of the population, because I'm sure no black people have Seinfeld in their top 5.
Have you seen it from like season 1, season 2, and shit like that, or just? Like
I started watching it because I really like Larry David, so I kind of got into Curb, and it made me go back and look for some of Larry David's works. But it's good. It's good. It didn't age really great, I don't think. I don't think it aged great. Because when I watched it, it was like, okay, I see the appeal. It doesn't suck. It's actually really good. But it ain't great. It ain't great. Not to me. But maybe I got to keep going.
Yeah, I think you got to watch episode after episode and then after a while you'll get sucked into it.
I can see that. And I think I owe it to myself to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 3 sitcom.
Yeah.
Is arguably the greatest sitcom of all time. I think ratings wise, it's the number 1 sitcom we've ever seen. It's The Cosby Show with my man, Bill Cosby. And like I said, we don't cancel motherfuckers here. Yes, Bill Cosby did a lot of bad, but he saved a lot of people. Like Dave Chappelle said, he rapes, but he saves. And he saves more than he rapes.
But now I think you're doing the nostalgia thing where it's like a personal thing, because there's no way that show is like on the quality level of like a Seinfeld or something. You know what I mean? As far as
the
like
biggest show of all time. And Bill Cosby is funnier than anybody on that show. I'm sorry. Bill Cosby's funnier than Jerry Seinfeld. Bill Cosby was, I mean, he epitomized the black dad. I mean, is it nostalgia? Partially, but if we're comparing the Cosby Show with Boy Meets World, then I can't accept that argument. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Both of them are like nostalgia type of shows. Neither of them are like the most funniest shows. You know what I mean?
If you were to look at, I bet you on like a generic TV guy, top 100 sitcoms, Cosby would be in the top 10, definitely top 5, probably. Boy Meets World might be in the top 80.
Because Cosby was big.
Big. That's my point. Yeah, good. Why was he big? He was big because he was good. It's good. You weren't around though. You weren't even born yet.
The two and a half men was big.
You weren't even around for that though, so it's hard for you to like. You didn't even get a chance to experience that while you was alive. You had to kind of like go back and now. Good luck finding that show now.
Yeah, true. All right, my number three. My number 3 is probably my favorite. Although it's number 3, but it's probably currently my favorite sitcom. And I hated this show my whole life because every time he came on TV, I would turn the channel or whatever. Whenever commercials for it came on, I would get annoyed because the characters seemed annoying to me. And like I maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes when I was in high school, but like during the pandemic, I watched it. I fell in love with it. It became one of my all-time favorite shows. It's currently my favorite show, but right now it's on number 3 on my all-time list. It's Frasier. I started watching Cheers. The character came in Cheers. After Cheers, he did a spin-off with Frasier. That's the best show.
I don't want to shit on Frasier. Right? That's not my goal here. And again, this is just your favorites.
Either you like Frasier or you haven't seen Frasier.
I like Frasier. We're just talking top 5 all time. We're talking top 5 all motherfucking time.
There's no doubt Frasier is a better sitcom.
If we're talking top 5, no, my friend. No, mon frere. No.
You're tripping, dude.
If you got Frasier over Married with Children and Martin, no.
Well, Frasier has more awards than both of those shows combined.
I don't care about that. Married with Children probably didn't get a bunch of awards, but it should have. It's a great show. It's a great show. Now, the Cosby Show got more awards than all of them put together, I bet.
I don't know. I don't think it got more than.
I don't even know about that. I don't give a shit about those fucking awards, to be honest with you.
I'm just talking about
fucking stuck-up liberals go in a room and say, whose cock do we want to suck this year? And that's the show that gets all the fucking awards, right? Friends probably got a fucking Emmy or whatever the fuck it is. But now, oh shit. Okay. We'll go with I'm excited for the next time we do this. But Frasier, top 5, hell to the motherfucking no. I can't even put that over Cheers.
It's currently my favorite right now.
I gotta put Cheers over that, but okay. All right. My number 2, and I'm sure, young buck, this show did not make your list. And this is why I say you're gonna have homework to do. You got homework to do because you haven't. This show is not in your top 5. And if this show was not in your top 5, I can't respect your list. And number 2 is All in the Family.
The only reason it's not in my I was going to put it in my top 10 actually, but the only reason I didn't is because I haven't seen it in like 15 years.
Just a great show. I'm just talking about just the greatest show. Like Archie Bunker, you talk about your favorite guy. Archie Bunker plays a fucking racist white dude who fucking has to live next door to a black family. And he's like, shit, you can never do that show. I guess maybe you could do that show. I think it'd be a great show to do right now to redo it. We kind of need shows like that. That kind of show helped us kind of get through it. When like black comedians would call white people honkies, I think that was good for like race relations. You kind of got it out in the open. But at the end of the day, you can have these differences of skin color, food, But they were usually agreed on the core principles of what it meant to be like a person, an American, a man, a father, a husband who's got a wife that's annoying and kids that get on your goddamn, you know what I mean? Like, so Archie Bunker, oh my God, that show was funny. His daughter, he's an old conservative dude and his daughter brings home this liberal. Like the first liberal on TV was a Meatball.
And that guy became like a big director, Rob Reiner.
Big ass director, Rob Schneider, right?
Rob Reiner.
Yeah, so it was a great show. And if it's not in your top 5, Boy Meets World. But like All in the Family. Go back and watch it. It'll be better now than it was back then. It'll be better now. Because you'll see a dude spitting out racism like in the confines of a show when he learns and grows. But it's funny. It's good stuff.
All right. My number 2. Married with Children.
Oh, okay.
Boom.
Yeah,
Al
right.
Bundy, baby. Al Shoehorn
Pokai.
Bundy.
Pokai.
Okay, baby. All right,
And
got.
I would say this. I will say this. Just making my top 5 means this is a great show. I'm not. We can argue where all these shows really slot.
What's your number one?
Number one, it's number one with the bullet too. It's number one with the bow bullet. Sanford and Son. Red Fox. Sanford and Son. All they did was roast on that show. He would roast his cousin or his auntie or his son's auntie. Man, this mean ass black woman. She would always call that boy a fish-eyed fool. He would fake heart attacks. One time the police came through and he had found like his brother, his son had a best friend named Rollo, like a slick ass black dude. He had grown a marijuana plant in their backyard, and Fred thought it was some herbs, so he put that shit in the spaghetti. He was worried that the cops was gonna catch him, so the cops started eating. No, a salad. Put in the salad. The cops eat the salad. The cops get fucking high as shit. It was one of the funniest episodes of any show I've ever seen. But maybe my favorite show of all time. I mean, favorite episode of any show ever. But yeah, Sanford and Son, number one with the bullet, clear separation.
Yeah, I may have only seen one episode when I was a kid on TV Land. That's about, I don't remember. My number one. Another show I used to hate every time. I would flip through channels and come on. I would turn it off, even though it was always reruns. I would turn it off. Then during high school, late night, one night I just decided to watch the reruns, and I quickly fell in love, dude. And it became one of my favorite shows. Like every night, on school nights, I would stay up late at night, like 1 a.m. or whatever time going on. I would watch 2 episodes every night, and it became like my favorite show. MASH. I love that shit. Outside Pierce, baby. Radar O'Reilly. Klinger. The OGs.
MASH? Was there any black people in that show?
Not on the regular cast, I don't think.
That's an automatic disqualification for my top 5. You ain't got one supporting black actor that comes through and just says like the kid dynamite. I mean, we didn't get to Good Times. We didn't get to the Jeffersons. Oh man, I'm telling you, the black sitcoms. We didn't get to the Wayans. We didn't get to Jamie Foxx. We didn't get to A Different World. There's so many more. We didn't get to
the Wayans
the
brothers.
World don't move to
The
the
Wayans
beat
brothers.
just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. We didn't get to that. We didn't get to Family Ties.
In the House, LL Cool J.
No, that one doesn't. That one was not admitted on accident. No, that doesn't. Oh man, your top 5 needs some help.
Nah, dog. I like my top 5, dog.
Man,
I like my top 5.
No black shows in your top 5, really? No black shows in your top 5. Oh my god!
I just don't think any of those shows. I just don't think like the Cosby Show is better than Frasier.
It's better than Boy Meets World. I don't think anybody with half a brain is ever gonna even begin to make an argument.
Cosby ain't got nothing on Mr. Feeney, dog.
Oh man! Oh man!
It's a generational thing, dog. It's a generational thing. You're in the Cosby generation, Boy Meets World generation.
Well, one thing I will give you credit for this: you don't have Friends on your list. That would be automatic means for a mistrial. I'd be like Donald Trump asking for a recount.
It's not in my top, but it's a show I do enjoy.
And you don't have the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
That would have been like number 6.
That was number 6 for me too. It's number 6 for me. It's just outside of that top 5. Just outside.
I had Fresh Prince. I had Family Ties with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, Family Ties would have been there.
Spin
like
City.
I said, Cheers to me. Cheers is better than Frasier. Cheers, great.
I watched both of them after the pandemic. I started with Cheers and I went out to Frasier. I love both of them, but Frasier I just liked a lot more.
Okay, fair enough. I won't fight you on that one, to be honest with you, but I don't know. Your list has got some serious holes in it.
That 70s Show, Spin City, those are two I like.
70 Show's all right. It's okay.
70s Show is like a classic by now.
I guess to me, I guess you're right. Some of it's generational, but I really believe that they had better sitcoms in the 80s. Better sitcoms in the 80s. Yeah, I think that those live audience, now don't get me wrong, since we weren't including like the new type of shows like The Office and Curb and 30 Rock and things like that. Well, I think those shows are better than those from the 80s, but like those sitcoms, those regular family type sitcoms now, they don't hold a candle. Because for one, it would be like listening to like these newer rappers now and be like, oh yeah, these guys are better than KRS-One and better than Public Enemy and better than Run DMC. Like, no, these guys are like the newer version of that. But those guys were the innovators. Those guys were the original joke teller. So in this case, Cosby was the original joke teller. These guys, these old, All in the Family, the Jeffersons, these were the original joke tellers. And these newer shows drew from a lot of that inspiration to create what they had here, what they had there. So that's my 2 cents on that. Although I'll give you credit for MASH. You threw MASH in there.
I love that.
Doesn't make my list at all, but it is showing respect to the old school. All right,
let's take a smoke intermission.
All right, let's do it. So yeah, like today's a kind of trash day news-wise. Ain't really shit going on. So but when we have days like this, it's, you know, and people don't know this about me and you maybe, is that we kind of met on like MMA chat boards, MMA Junkie, Twitter, whatever the fuck it was. We kind of we share a passion for a couple of things like mixed martial arts, really good television shows, things like that. But we really don't know each other that well. And you're very niched in like what your interest is and what your purview is. And I'm like this big fucking blob of Google with like tentacles everywhere that knows a little bit and finds interest in a lot of these things. So it's going to be my job to kind of get you on board with why some of these things are kind of good to know about. Like, for example, a slow news day like today, ain't shit going on. There's really nothing going on outside of Rudy Giuliani busting a fart the other day. And I don't know, there's really not much going on. It's kind of a Floyd Mayweather fighting Luke Paul, Jaka, gives a fuck about that. But Larsa Pippen is a content factory. She's the gift that keeps giving. And I know you weren't really aware of Larsa Pippen when we first started talking about this.
Yeah, so for people like me who didn't really know who she was, who kind of live under the rock, tell us about Larsa Pippen.
Larsa Pippen.
How do you spell that? How do you spell that?
Larsa, Larsa. Larsa.
Larsa, all right.
Larsa Pippen is a member of the Kardashian tribe. Not by blood, but by just affiliation and hanging out with them. And you guessed it by her last name. She is the wife of NBA legend Scottie Pippen, right? So one thing about Larsa is she's really, for whatever reason, went out and got the same doctors as Kim Kardashian. So she really does look more like Kim Kardashian than Kim Kardashian's own blood relatives. So she's got the same exact surgeries, right? And she's hot. She's pushing 40, but yeah, she's hot. Larsa Pippen is always in the news. She has very publicly cheated on Scottie Pippen with guys like Future. And most recently, she found herself in the news because she's hooking up with the guy by the name of Malik Collins, if I'm not mistaken, is his last name. So now Malik Collins at the time was in a relationship. And when she was out public, what do they call it? Canoodling. When Larsa was out canoodling with Malik's baby mama found out about it and was devastated. She was devastated. And apparently, Larsa's back in the news today. She's on her social media and saying, made a statement to not believe everything that you hear or see, because even salt looks like sugar. So there you have it.
So she's like one of those chicks now that has an addiction where she has to be in the news every couple of days, right?
I think she loves the sound of her own name. She's actually going out there and just making statements. She fucked with Future. Okay, Future. Okay. Footnote, very important sidebar. This is a podcast about whatever, but there's just certain things I'm just gonna be a champion of, and this is gonna be a safe space. This is gonna be a safe space for men so we can talk about things in the way locker room talk, the way men talk about things, right? So if we were gonna have like a president run for president right now for toxic males, oh, at the top of that list has got to be a rapper by the name of Future. Are you familiar?
Uh yeah.
The most toxic male we have ever seen. Future has a body count like no other. He's got Sierra. He's got a baby with Sierra. He spent time with Rihanna. He's been around what's that girl's name? Lori Harvey, beautiful young socialite. And you guessed it, Larsa Pippen. As a matter of fact, when she was still married to Scottie Pippen, there's a picture of her with Future's arm around her.
Shit.
And Future doesn't do interviews, and he just talks really ghetto, and he just posts thing after all the drama was going on. Her and Scottie have just broke up, and Future posted, "She mines now." That's it. She mines now. And everybody know he didn't say I'm dating Larsa Pippen. He just said she mines now. She was all in the news. Everybody knew about it. She recently talked about her relationship with Future, just about how they were just there for each other in the moment. In other words, she's basically like a dude out here. She out here fucking these niggas. Like, you don't get Larsa Pippen, she gets you. Her new boyfriend, Malik Beasley's 22 years old. Her son is 18. We could throw that number by two years. Maybe he's 24, his son's 20. But they're 4 years apart. So Larsa Pippen she's basically a toxic male. She's a toxic female, but she's behaving like a toxic male. She's out here, she's getting hers, and she's just letting you know about it. She don't give 2 fucks. Doesn't give 2 fucks.
How do you feel about her? Not a fan? Or do you enjoy like laughing at her or whatever?
She's good for a slow news day. I mean, what is she? I mean, she's interesting. Okay, so I didn't really want to get too deep into how I feel about Larsa Pippen. I do believe in equality. So if it's okay for men to go out there and to triumph and do their thing when it comes to having multiple partners and, going after kind of being the hunters, why can't a female do it? So in that respect, more power to Larsa Pippen. More power to her. She's embracing her sexuality and her femininity. So, and why not? It's interesting to see this. I'm sorry, Larsa Pippen's 46. Did I say 40? No, she's 46. She's a bit on the old side to be out there thotting it up, in my opinion. But she seems to be like mentally immature. So 46-year-old actual body. She's got like one of those builder bodies that she's gone to the best doctors in the world and gotten herself to probably about a 33-year-old's body. But I know her son is embarrassed, and that's kind of the thing, right? So I don't feel Larsa Pippen. She's a thought. She's an old thought. She should probably go someplace and sit her ass down. But I'm not going to tell her to do that because who am I to tell anybody what to do? I find it entertaining, though. I think she's entertaining.
You brought her to my attention. Now I guess whenever I see Larsa Pippen, I don't know who the hell it is.
Since I brought her to your attention about 7 days ago, how many days has she been in the news, though?
Like 4?
About 4 days in the news. In 7 days. She just keeps on doing little thotty type behaviors, and she always gets caught. Like, she's messy about it. And poor Scottie Pippen.
So how long has it been that you moved into the new crib?
Closed on October 21st. We moved in on October the 26th. So about 6 weeks. 6 weeks in.
How are you feeling about the new neighborhood?
The new neighborhood is beautiful. It's one of the reasons I wanted to move here. It's like this wasn't the nicest house that we seen. We seen some really, really, really nice houses, but this area is like, it kind of had like a good feel to it where the neighbors took care of their yard. 91% of the people here are actually homeowners, not that many renters. We've got our own lake here within like 3 blocks. We can walk and be at a lake where me and my son can go fishing. We've got creeks and parks. We can walk the dogs, and it's just, oh man, it's paradise. It's a little niche of paradise here.
Awesome.
Now, I did say there was 91% of homeowners here. Unfortunately for me, one of the renters happens to live across the street. And these renters, but I don't care a fuck if you rent or not, but they're always outside. They're like a Pacific Islander family. Some big dudes, big girls, and they're loud, big voices, and they're always outside. And the house that I moved into, in my front yard, I've got humongous trees. I've got 40 feet tall Douglas noble firs. 4 of them are like 40 feet tall.
What ferns?
Douglas firs, like Christmas trees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Douglas firs. They're skyscrapers, right? They're humongous. I can't wait to decorate them. So, and they're like positioned in a way where we live on a corner lot. So if people are driving by, they're not driving by and looking into my home. It's kind of sectioned off a little bit. And I like that feature. But unfortunately, these people across the street, I don't know how many kids they have, but there's always like 5, 6, 7, 8 people outside. They've decided that smoking marijuana on the side of my house is the best place for them to do it because of those trees. So what I've got is like a constant stream of these motherfuckers walking across the goddamn street, rolling up blunts on the side of my house and smoking on the side of my fucking house. Like I'm in the fucking hood or something. And
have you said anything?
The big ass Samoans, what are you gonna say to them? I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to eventually. And this is funny. Just from where I've come from to where I'm at, like me being mad about somebody outside smoking weed on the side of my house is actually hilarious if you knew the old me, but this is where I find myself in 2020. So the other night,
I mean, it doesn't matter if they're smoking weed or anything. It doesn't matter if they're coming there to eat cotton candy. It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, why are you here on the side of my house?
Yeah.
And then they're leaving they're gutting their backwoods and leaving the tobacco shit just right there on the sidewalk and dropping the package right there too. You know, so it's really annoying. So I keep seeing them going over there. So Tuesday night, they're over there on the side of my fucking house. And on the side of my house, it's a cul-de-sac where it's like it dead ends. So there's this truck and it's 10 o'clock at night and they're playing music on the side of my house. And they got the music turned up and they're outside of the truck and they're loud and they're smoking and they're like, what the fuck are these people doing on the side of my fucking house? And I'm pretty chill. I was like, all right, so I'm getting irritated.
I think I'm starting to understand why that house was on sale.
Yeah, they gave us a great deal on the house. They're like, just get in it so we get the fuck out of here before you find out. So 30 minutes goes by and they're still outside on the side of my house with the lights on in this truck, blasting music. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? This takes some fucking balls. You're on the side of somebody else's house, turning your music up, the lights are on and you're just hanging out. And like, I walk outside, I go look at them. And all of a sudden I go and I look at them, deadpan, and I walk back in the house. Thinking maybe if they see me, they'll think, oh man, the neighbor's right there. Let me turn this music down. Nope. Didn't happen. They continue to do their thing. And another 30 minutes goes by and they're still out there. So now I'm getting mad. I'm like, what the fuck? What's up with these fucking kids? They're just gonna hang out there all fucking day? Like, what part of the game is this, right? So I'm like, am I gonna call the cops? What to call the cops? I mean, it's either me go outside at 11 o'clock at night and I'm already pissed off, so I'm not gonna be polite when I tell you, will you get the fuck away from the side of my house with some fucking young, drunk, fucking big ass Samoans, or do you call the cops?
It's either risk getting arrested or call the cops.
Call the cops, man. I called the fucking cops. I called the cops. Said, hey, man, these people inside of my house, and they are making a ruckus. They said, okay, where do you live? Told them I live. They said, did they have any weapons? I was like, nah, I don't think they have any weapons, man. They're just being a nuisance. They're just blasting music. It's 11:15 at night at this point in time. They've been out on the side of my house, literally on the side of my house. My house is on the corner. They are just on the side of my house, blasting music, smoking, drinking, outside of their car, just hanging out in front of my house. And it's like going on 11:30 on the work night. So I called the fucking cops.
What they say?
I guess the cops came by, drove by, and they left. But I actually had to call the fucking cops. That's how ignorant these people are. You got the smack God calling the cops on you. You got to be some type of idiot to get me to that point. You got to be some type of idiot. I'm not lying to you.
What do you think you're going to do about the weed?
I don't really care about the fact that they're smoking weed. It's like what you said. Go someplace else. There's a creek half a block away. Go to the fucking creek. Nobody lives at the fucking creek. Go to the fucking creek, smoke your fucking weed, pick up your fucking shit, or at least put your shit in the fucking grass. Like if you put tobacco shavings in the grass, that's fine. It's organic. It'll break down. That's fine.
Like, do your kids see him smell the weed and stuff like that?
Yeah, I didn't like that yesterday. I took my son to go, we went to the park to go throw the football around a little bit. And he saw him. He was like, hey, I see what those people are doing. They're smoking. I was like, ah, shit. All right. So there's a showdown. There is a showdown that's going to happen.
Yeah,
and I have to decide, am I going to go be the cool older black guy, or am I going to be am I going to be a Kyle and just be really, hey guys, I don't appreciate this here. How do I play this? Because I'm in a neighborhood. It's a really nice neighborhood. And like I'm surrounded by well-to-do people. And they've come and introduced themselves to me, and they've already kind of pointed them out as the troublemakers in the neighborhood. So the whole neighborhood hates these people. So how do I come at it? Am I going to be the one to solve? If I solve this issue, I think I'll be like the favorite guy in the whole neighborhood.
I think maybe you should get together with like a few guys on the block and go talk to them.
See, that's strategically. It's got to be done strategically.
Or another idea might be get with a few guys and get in touch. All of you get in touch with whoever's renting the property out. Be like, hey man, these fools need to get evicted or something.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, you got.
I think I'm going to try a more direct approach. I'm going to talk to him during the day next time I see him over there. And I'm going to ask them politely, hey, man, can you guys do that someplace else? Not here next to my house. I just don't like having people over here. I'm going to say, look, hey, man, I just come from like not such a nice place. And just having people hanging out here. Or maybe introduce myself to them. I don't know. I kind of want to be cool about it. Again, these big ass fucking Samoans.
Yeah, say my kids are bringing up. It bothers them.
Yeah, my son. I'm saying, my son said something the other day. Seen you guys smoking.
See, I was letting it slide, but it's bothering my kids now.
Good idea. It's a good idea. Say, yeah, my wife's complaining. My kids seen you guys smoking over here. Not cool the other night.
Be like, hey man, I smoke too. Yeah, I'm a Gary Payton dog.
Like, yo, bro, I fucking smoke. It's not that. I don't give a fuck about that, man. It's just you're doing it next to my house. You're next to my house.
It's like I'm keeping it away from my kids, but then my kids are seeing you. It's like, come on.
Yeah. I'm making it a point not to be smoking around my kids. Now you guys are out here smoking, and we go for a walk, walking our dog, and walk to the park. We see you guys smoking. I don't smoke around my kids. You know, exactly. That's a good point. There we go. I think I'll address it like that. Glad we had this conversation. If anybody else watching this show has some ideas, throw it in the comments.
Or if you want, you roll up with a joint, be like, hey, let's go have a smoke. Let's go take a walk down the block, smoke them out, and talk to them about it.
Yeah, like, hey, man, can y'all come over here with me for a minute, man? That's a good idea. Have a blunt rolled up. Hey, man, here goes a blunt for y'all. Got a blunt for me. You know what I mean? I'd appreciate it if y'all did not do this over there. It's a good idea.
Yeah, man. I think that'll solve it.
Matter of fact, maybe I'll give them an eighth of weed.
No, don't do that. Just don't give them anything, because then they'll think you're trying to buy them off, and then they'll try to get more shit out of you.
They'll try to extort me.
Yeah, like just smoke them out with whatever you're smoking. Don't give them like their own blunt. Just let them take a hit from whatever you have. And
I don't want to smoke out to these people during the coronavirus, during the pandemic.
Use your fingers when you hit. Don't touch the joint.
Now I have to give them their own. We'll have our own personals, man.
Yeah, but then they'll be like, "What? This guy doesn't want to smoke with me? He's giving me."
Oh, shit, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, no easy solutions here.
Well, you don't even have to do the smoking thing. It was just an idea.
I think it's a good idea. I think that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. Or you could just hand them a joint. Yeah, enjoy this one on me.
Yeah.
Nah, but then they think you might have laced it with some shit. So
I know, right? Exactly. Yeah.
So
like
you got to be
easy.
smoking. You got to be smoking.
But anyway, man, like I said, man, there's that. We'll have to follow this story. This won't be the last update. I am sure of it. I'm absolutely positive of it.
Yeah, well, you'll keep us updated on that.
I will keep you updated on that. So what else is going on in the world? Hey,
James Harden, right?
Yeah. While the show went live, James Harden is actually a holdout from the Houston Rockets camp. Now, you're not much of a basketball fan, if I remember correctly. Which I don't understand. I don't understand.
I grew up a basketball fan, and just I don't watch it regularly anymore, because I don't have like a team I love. I follow, you know.
The NBA just has so many talented athletes, probably the most gifted athletes in the world. I can't think of another sport that's close to having a man who's 7 feet tall with a 40-inch vertical leap that can shoot three-pointers during a game at 42% accuracy and dribble between the legs, spin. Like, these guys are like graceful gazelles with 40 inches plus of vertical leaping ability and coordination and finesse. And then now their strength and conditioning is just to the next level. It's just, there's nothing like it. Football is similar in certain respects, where you get like just top of the food chain athletes. So some of that is there in football as well. But yeah, just the athleticism alone, you get to see things that just don't look possible when you watch basketball. But so what basketball has essentially become now. And one thing I want to say about basketball is I like basketball players per se more than any other players. Basketball players have the best life, right? They have the best groupies. Like, have you been to a basketball game, a professional basketball game?
Nope.
Groupies everywhere.
Really?
Everywhere. Trying to get chose to one of them groupies. They got it. Okay. Guaranteed money contracts. These guys signed 4 or 5 year deals for nearly $200 million. Guaranteed money. Football players, these motherfuckers get 1.6 million. And if they fucking get turf toe and miss 4 weeks, they can get cut and the money's not guaranteed. It's cutthroat over there in the NFL, man. These guys are really getting punked over there. And basketball players living a good life. But what it leads to in basketball is a problem has arisen with these guys. I would have to imagine they're like bad bitches. You go to the club and you see a 6 foot tall blonde girl with a fake rack, even a real rack, this big old rack. She's in great shape. She's beautiful. She's going to be, the bad bitch in the club. So she's going to be kind of stuck up and sedity. These basketball players are like bad bitches to the bitches. They're like the most sought after thing. They're the most sought after thing, right? And what you start to develop now is these divas. And if we had a top 5 diva list in basketball, I'm going to ask you to participate in this because they don't watch it. You'd have Kevin Durant, you'd have Kyrie Irving, you'd have James Harden, you'd have Kawhi Leonard, John Wall, Russell Westbrook. You'd have these guys competing to see who's the biggest diva of them all. But right now, the guy that's taking them on is James Harden, man. James Harden is out at the club. He's at the booty club. He's at the club hanging out with Lil Baby. He gifted Lil Baby for his birthday 100 honey buns and then 100 bands, which is $100,000, and a Richard Mille watch. And a Prada bag. It was like, that was just 2 nights ago. So then the NBA says NBA players cannot go out to bars or nightclubs because they're entering into the bubble. He was out that night hanging out at the bar, and then he chose not to show up to camp. So he's actually he's holding out right now, and he's actually trying to force a trade to New Jersey, where you have 2 other divas, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
He used to play with Durant.
He used to play with Durant and never Kyrie though. So that would be an interesting mix right there. Now, another thing about the Rockets is Russell Westbrook asked to be traded from that team, and their owner is like a well-known Trump supporter. As a matter of fact, the owner of the Rockets is actually a Fertitta.
What's that?
He's a Fertitta.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's one of the Fertittas. And you know they've got a buddy relationship with Donald Trump. So apparently some of the players on that Rockets team, they're kind of sick of that organization.
John Wall was going over there.
He got traded there, yeah. John Wall's crazy too. That motherfucker was throwing up blood gang signs like 3 months ago, like for real, like hanging out with some like grimy, notorious blood gang guys. And he was out there just in all blood with red bandanas, throwing up his shit. And it's like he had to apologize. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You're in the NBA. You're hanging out with a bunch of blood gangbangers and you're throwing up blood signs. Like, weird. So James Harden appears to be trying to force his way out of the Houston Rockets. I'm a Warrior fan. Hopefully he finds his way over to Oakland. But then again, if he's out at the booty club, I don't know that he fits our culture. And he's forcing a trade. I don't know that he fits our culture. So I don't really see him coming over there. But he's letting it be known he wants his way out of Houston. That's a big deal. That's a big fucking deal.
What do you hope happens with him?
Fuck him. I hope they make his ass stay right there in Houston so he doesn't go anywhere and become a threat to the Warriors. He's a super talented dude, but I don't know, man.
I'm actually a fan of his. I remember watching the draft live when he got drafted at number 10 by the Thunder. Like a lot of good players went in that draft. Oh no, I don't know. Actually, Brandon Jennings went number 10, I think. I'm not sure what number he went, but a lot of good people got drafted that year. Number 8 was Steph Curry.
That was a Steph Curry draft, right?
Yeah, number 1 was Blake Griffin.
Woo.
Yeah. Number 2,
Harden was number 3 in that draft.
Yeah, number 2 was Hakeem Thabit. Harden was 3, huh?
Was number 2 Hakeem Thabit?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's like Sam Bowie. That was a terrible draft.
he's still in the D League, I think.
Oh shit, Hakeem Thabit.
Trying to get
man, the 2009 NBA draft is crazy. You almost couldn't miss.
Yeah, definitely.
Blake Griffin, Hakeem Thabit, James Harden, Tyreek Evans is a bum. Ricky Rubio went 5. Johnny Flynn went 6. You passed on Steph Curry to get Johnny Flynn. Mm-hmm. Jordan Hill, decent player. DeMar DeRozan was number 9, and Brandon Jennings was 10. That's a good memory you have there.
Yeah. Jennings was good for a few years, but then he fell off.
Yeah, he was all right. I don't know what the hell happened to him.
Probably drugs and not taking it seriously.
I think that, for some of these guys, like your motivation to do all this hard work is like having that life that you want. You want the beautiful girl. You want the nice car. You want the big house. What happens after you get all that shit?
The same thing with fighters, right?
I'm good. I'm okay right now. My legacy is set, man. Yeah. And so James Harden forcing his way out of Houston I'd be interested to see what happens next. But I think now his draft value is starting to plummet. And Fertitta said that he wasn't in a hurry to trade him. He wasn't really worried about it. So I think James Harden said, oh, yeah? Okay. You're going to try to keep me here? The NBA player is a players run league. So when the players can force trades whoever they want to go. And it's weird. I see people having a problem with that. They don't like the way NBA players move. But why not? Why shouldn't the players get to play where they want to play? What other job do you just have to go? You can't change to another job. Like if you're working for Nike, nobody can make you stay there and not go to Adidas.
Yeah, they think a player should be like a piece on the chessboard. You can move them wherever you want, but nah, not anymore.
These are people. These are humans. What other walk of life? There's a doctor. He works for Kaiser. He can't leave and go to Sutter if they offer him a better deal, or go work at MIT or Stanford. You go where you can make the best living or the best life choices for yourself. So why should professional athletes be held to a different standard than a neurosurgeon? You know what I mean? I don't get it.
Definitely.
I don't get people.
Snoop's in the news too now, huh? He's getting in the fight game.
Hey, Snoop is one of the real success stories in America. He came out, beat a murder case, changed the whole rap game, the father of this current rap scene right now. And then, man, this whole thing they did with Triller, with Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, 1.2 million buys.
Snoop was behind that?
What's that?
Snoop was behind that?
Snoop was the play-by-play guy. And he also was the A&R, so he chose like the acts, like they had musical performances there. Mm-hmm. So I guess, 1.2 million buys is a lot of buys, man. That's got a lot of attention right now. And it makes them one of the more successful boxing promoters in the game. So they actually somehow own the name, the Fight Club. I would think that name would have been taken by somebody. Yeah, but it's not. Matter of fact, we might have agreements. Money Right Fight Club? Hey.
Yeah, man.
Might want to sue for a few dollars, right?
We got to get this trademarked.
Let's get that shit trademarked, bro. Yeah, so they're actually going to do some more events. They're going to do 5 to 8 events. This is really, really, really interesting. So if I was a fantasy booker and Triller came to me and was like, can you put together some fights for us? I would try to get one of these rappers, one of these tough guy rappers, maybe two guys that have a problem with each other. Instead of rap beefing, why don't we do that shit in a ring? Give you guys $500,000 a piece. Now you've got, a YG fighting a Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't know the weight classes on how any of that works. Maybe a retired football player against a retired basketball player. But more importantly than that, I think where Triller actually wins is on grabbing an Anderson Silva. We talked about this last night. Or like a Nate Diaz. Some of these old MMA guys who are kind of a little bit long in the tooth to compete with the top of the food chain guys in mixed martial arts, but you could put them in a boxing contest. Make sure they're taking it serious, but you could run some fights and get some interest for somebody like Rampage Jackson. I think he's out of contract now. I think you could sell a fight on Rampage, find the right dancing partner for him.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of guys out there, Gilbert Melendez, Jake Shields, Diego Sanchez. I think bare knuckles fighting championships, they kind of have that idea, right? Where they're taking these guys and having them scrap. But I think Triller's got them beat on production and promotion. So somebody's going to fill that niche left by boxing, because boxing is trash right now.
Yeah, man. I don't watch any boxing anymore.
When I first started my company, Fightline Sports, there was like this debate. MMA was it wasn't on ESPN. They didn't talk about it on ESPN then. It was like the stepson of a sport, called it human cockfighting. It wasn't legitimized. It wasn't even on TV. You couldn't watch it. The Fox Sports deal hadn't even happened yet. That deal hadn't happened yet. It was still very much in its infancy. And the boxing guys were so dismissive of it. I think Bob Arum said it looked like gay porn or something like that, or two men in their underwear humping each other. Just really ignorant ideas about what the sport was. And they were in boxing, they were so like they were cocky. They didn't really have respect for their fan base. And I think they killed their fan base off to the point now that one of the more successful shows of the year was put on by a company that never promoted boxing before in its life. So here we are. Triller. Poised to really become a factor in the fight game.
Have they announced when the first show is?
No, they have not. Just that they're planning on something. I believe that I think that Floyd Mayweather may be on that card. Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul as your main event. You'll probably hit the undercard with some other shit. I think now Jake Paul is a legit draw, so I think you don't put them on the same card, right? You'd have that Logan Paul fight and Floyd. You throw some fights on the undercard there, but then after that, they're looking at doing the Evander Holyfield Mike Tyson 3.
What?
Yeah.
That's stupid though. With the rules they have, I don't like it. That's why I didn't watch the Tyson fight, because they're not allowed to knock each other out.
That card, everybody who watched it loved it and said they buy it again.
Not from my Facebook friends.
I would say that everybody I've talked to, and I haven't talked to a million people. I've talked to about 12 people. And then everybody who I listened to and follow their feeds, everybody was in. You did $1.2 million. 1.2 million buys. You made a lot of money, and a large percentage of people who bought it were happy with it.
Yeah, but you're just watching them spar, so you're not watching a fight. You're watching the sparring session. That's the thing.
You're watching high-level sparring. Well, only that fight, though, because those guys were in their 50s.
Yeah.
But you're getting to watch Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. I mean, these are old, great legends. Why not sprinkle them a little bit of money? These are guys from our childhood. Again, you missed Mike Tyson. If you missed the 80s, man, you really miss what life is all about.
Yeah, but when you watch Mike Tyson, you're hoping for a quick knockout. You're not hoping for like a decision.
Not anymore. I think Mike Tyson, Rafiki, I think we're all happy. So you weren't there for the time when Mike Tyson would go crazy in his press conferences and tell people that he wanted to rape them or he wanted to fornicate. I don't do interviews with women unless I fornicate with them first. With a straight and mean it. And mean it. So are we going to fornicate or are we going to not fornicate? Because if we're not going to fornicate, I don't think I can continue to do this interview. Because when I see a beautiful woman, all I can think about is your present fornicating. You would be watching that shit and saying, what the fuck is he doing? Or the time he fucking goes, suck my dick, you faggot motherfucker. Yeah, come suck my dick. I'll make you my bitch, you fucking homo. Like taking off his fucking shirt and going fucking nuts. You didn't see that. What you're seeing is like Conor McGregor get close to that. You didn't see when he got into it with Lennox Lewis and they have a kerfuffle and he bit Lennox Lewis. He bit him on his inner thigh during a scrap and told Lennox, I am Alexander. I am Napoleon. I'm coming for you, Lennox. I want to eat your kids. You weren't there for that. You weren't there that when they had the fight with Lennox Lewis, there was like $100 million on the table. Did you see that fight?
No.
Okay. Here's the scene. Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis were supposed to fight, but Mike Tyson went crazy and bit him. So they said the fight is off. He bit him. So then Mike Tyson goes and says, yeah, they got me on this Zoloft right now. Zoloft is like an antipsychotic. And they got me on Zoloft so I don't kill everybody up in here. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm just relaxed and I'm just, I'm just going to go. You're looking at it like, yo, they drugged him. He was so crazy that they drugged him. They basically pushed him to the ring with a cattle prod. Had to fight $100 million on the line. They had cops in the ring in a diagonal line separating Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. They did not allow them to touch gloves before the fight because if they don't fight, you got to respond to all the fucking money, right? You didn't know what the fuck you really didn't know what Mike Tyson was gonna do. So they had cops in the ring separating them. Then the cops left, and then he went out there and got the shit beat out of him by Lennox Lewis. But they drugged him, cattle prodded him to the ring just to milk another $100 million out of him, because that's what he was worth. But you could, he had no control over what he was gonna do or say. He had no control. He was a fucking maniac, but there's nothing remotely close to Mike Tyson right now. There's nothing even the closest. Again, Conor McGregor. Conor. I mean, he did throw a trash can through a car window. That's doing a lot. But you didn't experience that. So what I'm saying is that to see Mike Tyson in a good place now with a podcast with the Weed Ranch, seeming to be a loving father and staying out of trouble, I can say I'm happy that Mike Tyson is here where he's at. Now, also, not to mention he went to jail for rape, right? He went to jail for 5 years. So to see him staying out of trouble, getting old, intelligent, having his faculties, to see him get out there and do his thing is nostalgia at his best. You don't want to see Mike Tyson after hurting people. You don't want to see Roy Jones get hurt because you love Roy Jones. Roy Jones is skill personified.
The only Mike Tyson fights I remember watching when I was a kid were the 2 Holyfield fights.
Those were crazy, and even those came after jail, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
even those came after jail. Oh, and then you didn't see, and this is something you've got to see. Matter of fact, I'm gonna add that to here. Robin Givens. Do you know who Robin Givens is?
Mike Tyson dated her, married her.
He married her. And then they do a show with Barbara Walters. And during the show, she's sitting next to Mike and she goes, "Oh, you have no idea what it's like to live with Mike Tyson. It's terrible. Mike's crazy. He just goes off. He hits me and all this shit." And Mike Tyson is just sitting there with Barbara Walters across the way from him and all these cameras. And he's just sitting there. She just did it. She motherfucked him. He can't do anything. Like, she sabotaged him. Like in a live interview, she starts telling him how crazy he is. He just has to sit there and take it. He had to sit there and take it, or go off and then prove her point. Right? It was wild. He was just. I mean, it was just the craziest thing we've ever seen.
Crazy.
You got to watch Robin Givens. The look on her face. Oh, I can't bring it up right now.
I think I've seen clips of that shit before. You know.
Something else, man. Something else. So yeah, you missed Eddie Murphy. You missed Mike Tyson. You missed the Cosby Show. You missed Michael Jackson before the allegations.
No, like I didn't miss them. They missed me.
They left you with Boy Meets World. You probably grew up on Captain Planet. Like when
Fini.
Did you watch Captain Planet?
No.
What was the cartoon? They started making cartoons less violent for your generation too.
I grew up with Beavis and Butthead.
That was. I'm talking about the Saturday morning cartoons and shit. For us, man, we got to watch badass shit, man. The fucking Transformers. I had a fucking toy that was a fucking gun. It was a chrome gun, Megatron. A Transformer that looked like a fucking 44 Magnum. You think you could do that now? A toy that looked like an actual gun? Oh, man.
I grew up with the Power Rangers. They had guns.
No, they didn't. They had karate.
No, but they had guns that shot lasers and shit.
No. I'm talking about a fucking good old American steel gun.
You're talking about a pistola?
A pistol. He would turn into a gun. They don't do that kind of shit no more, man. I'm telling you, the 80s is where it was at. Now, it turns out the 80s were a fraud. Bill Cosby's a rapist. Michael Jackson, they made allegations about him. Hulk Hogan's a racist. It was all a fraud. It was all a fraud. But there was no TMZ to let you know. So we grew, Mr. T. We all grew up just idolizing these people, these flawed humans, these incredibly flawed humans. But damn it, it was the best of times.
Yeah, I grew up in the 90s, man, and the early 2000s, I guess. And I love the 90s were the shit for me.
The 90s were dope, too. There's the tail end of things being dope was the 90s. But you know, in the 90s, they started introducing some of those reality shows.
Like the Real World and stuff.
all that stuff started to come in, and that's when you can mark the decline of civilization.
That's like 98, but that's also when like good cable shows started coming out. So there's the yin and the yang. That's when the Sopranos started coming out and stuff. So you got your yin and your yang.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a glasses half full kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying the 80s were the best of times, man. I can look back on them and like, yeah, I had that.
I'm a bowl half full kind of guy. So this has been a solid first episode.
Yes, sir.
What's that?
I had to do a little something for work. Yeah, man. We hit on a lot of topics. Not a lot of topics, hit a couple topics. We're going to have to broaden. My goal is going to be just to broaden your horizon. My goal is to make you into the quintessential Renaissance man.
Respect. I can respect that.
We're going to open up some topics here, introduce you to some of these subcultures. You're going to learn from me. I'm kind of fascinated with like some of these weirder stories.
Before we wrap up, let's take a minute talking about the show we just watched, The Undoing on HBO.
Man, The Undoing. That show was, they actually had a little
Did you finish it?
On SNL. Yeah, I finished it.
Okay.
That show was good, really good. Episode 1 was kind of slow, picked up, and 2 and 3 were really good. 4 was really good, and I felt like 5 was starting to taper down a little bit. They should have maybe made that whole show about 4 episodes, maybe trimmed a little bit.
I don't know. I liked it all.
Did you? You know what?
Okay, the first episode.
I didn't like the ending. They went super duper Hollywood on us. That was a small, grimy type of show. Then they went super Hollywood at the end with a big chase. By the way, spoiler alert, if you have not seen that show, hit pause. Don't listen to what I'm about to say next because I'm about to spoil it.
Yeah, just turn it off now if you want to.
But if not, first of all, I felt the pacing of the show was like masterful, right? Episode 1, it was masterful. Like, what's going on here? It's kind of slow. What is this? But there was enough there to keep you invested. Hugh Grant, love Hugh Grant, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the young lady's name, the one that got murdered, but she had a tremendous rack, an outstanding rack.
Nice ass too.
And a juicy, fat booty. Like, I don't want to sound like that perverted guy, but when I seen her naked in that locker room scene, I was like, damn. Like, damn. She had to rewind it. Oh, what's going on here? because you didn't really know what was going on either at that point either. It wasn't even like gratuitous Porky's looking at some ass. It was like awkward and weird, right? It was like, yo, what's up with this girl? Why is she walking over to this lady and staring at her? And Nicole Kidman, I felt like Nicole Kidman played the hell out of her role. I felt like she did an outstanding job and we saw the entire show, or most of that show, 90% of that show, she was the point of view character, right? We were rarely point of view for the husband.
Yeah.
That was very rare. So it kind of kept us in the dark. So we got to a point where we really started rooting. Well, I did. I started rooting for the husband. Like, hey, man, he's got to beat this. He didn't do this. That girl was crazy. But it was a thing where the girl was crazy, but he did do it. It was like both were true. But
so how do you feel about him being the guy who did it?
Man, I feel like that was low-hanging fruit. That was low-hanging fruit. It was like, so we're gonna go through all. I didn't like that because at the end it was like, it was his family turned on him, his son turned on him, his wife turned. It's like everybody's turned on the dude. It's like, damn.
Because he did some weird shit. Like, if he knew it was him, then why are you blaming your son? Why are you thinking, oh, maybe my son did it? Could he have done it?
That part didn't make any sense either, because I would feel like, okay, I have a son, and before he gets in trouble for anything, I'll take the fall for him, not the other way around, right? That didn't make any sense. Not to mention, how old is Hugh Grant? He's probably about 60 years old. You're going to try to, let my 12-year-old son take the fall for me at age 60? Nah, man. Him even bringing that hammer to the thing didn't make any sense either. That made no sense, and it also didn't make sense to me. That's what I felt like there were some logic holes in the story. Okay, so you take the hammer, and you're at the shoreline. Surely you could have taken that hammer and thrown it into the ocean, right?
Yeah.
But instead of doing that, he puts it in a chimney and leaves. And then when they leave, he doesn't go back for it because he gets bailed out. He doesn't go back for it. Just leaves it there, assumes it's still there.
A lot of holes, but ultimately,
Good shot. It was good.
Is there going to be a second season?
Nah.
You sure?
What else could you do? He's in jail. Guilty of murder. And also, here's the part that made me most mad about it. When he's driving away with his son, which was uncomfortable. But they're following and looking for him in a helicopter. And like Nicole Kidman's in a helicopter with the cops as they're looking for her son. And you know what I'm thinking during that scene?
What?
White privilege. White privilege. You mean to tell me white people can just jump in a helicopter with the police and go find their missing kid? Come on, man.
I think that's just fiction. I don't think that happens in real life. Oh, well, maybe
clearly
rich white people, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm just saying, like, what the fuck is this? You get to jump in a helicopter with the police? Oh, there he is. There. Then she lands it on the bridge, right? And she goes running like, really? That's just no. Don't jump. It's like, come on, man. They had to go big Hollywood. They should not have went big Hollywood ending. I thought it was small, niche, New York City, the skyline, the city, these self-important people, these self-indulgent people, these flawed, superficial humans who act like they're the deepest of the deep. And exploring that to me was more interesting than the cliche of, well, yeah, the man always did it. And it was the father because he was a narcissist. Well, we've seen that before. That's not a new twist on anything. But I wanted to explore more of the condition of like the rich people being above the law type of idea. And I think they kind of went into that. And then they kind of, I don't know. I felt like somebody had a hand in how that show should finish rather than how it was written. I'd like to see that book and see how it ends in the book.
Oh yeah, it is based on the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
There might be a season 2 of The Night Of, and it's been a few years since the first season.
That's a really good show. That was another. See, this show reminded me of that show where you kind of didn't know what to believe. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that show a lot. I enjoyed both of them. I think I like The Night Of a little bit more.
Yeah, me too.
But I gotta say, Donald Sutherland. Oh man, Donald Sutherland was so good in that. I think it was episode 4 where he told the cops. He said, he goes, I'm a cocksucker. Because it's not in the new way you guys mean it, where in a homosexual type of way. He goes, no, I mean I'm an old-fashioned cocksucker. And that means that I will, if you fuck with my family, I will go through whatever the fuck it takes to get your ass back. I love the way he broke that down. It was like, yeah, that's a good line right there. The way he brought that up, he went into it, threatened the dude, let it be known where he comes from. I like that. I like Donald in that. That was a role. That was a hell of a role. I thought everybody played a hell of a role. The kid, Hugh Grant.
Great casting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Hugh Grant in a minute. It was good to see him in something.
Hugh Grant, man. Hugh Grant is one of those guys, man. He was banging Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
Who's still smoking out at age 53.
Shit. Not surprised.
Salute to you.
Respect. All right, so this has been a solid first episode. To those who made it all the way to the end, thank you guys. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter. He's at Fightline Sports. I'm at Gabriel Killian, and the channel is at Money Right FC. Like, comment, and stay beautiful. Anything to add?
Nah, man. The only thing I want to promote is this show, Smack in the Bank. Let's get it. Let's have fun. Hey, anything you guys want us to talk about, hit us up on Twitter. Put it in the comments, man. We're open to making this show kind of interactive, and I feel like the more people participate, the better this show's gonna get. So yeah, fuck with us. Leave a comment. Ask questions. We will respond.
Yeah, drop a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll discuss it on the next episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay beautiful. Ba-boom.